Alright guys, we're back. I muted myself and I started talking again. My god, I am the king of this, I swear to god. We're in picks and bans here now. So with that being said, I'm just waiting for Frost to load in. I'm just going to give him the command here.
Yeah, that'd be best.
Yeah,
All
there you
right.
go. It's just in chat there,
Oh,
Frost.
like that. All right.
Okay, so for first off here, guys, we're going to see what looks to be... we got Paradigm here on the left-hand side. And they're going to take down Sun Wukong. We said that ban was going to come out, as well as Khepri. Khepri has been a god that Zenborn has been favoring heavily. On the side of Mortality, Insomnia, / we're going to see Serket. We talked about that being banned, as well as Giannis, trying to take away Viper's big god here, trying to make him a little bit uncomfortable mid as he's just made that switch. So over on the side of Insomnia, we're also going to see Freya being picked up there. A favorite pick of Future. Future loves to play that Freya. They think that god is very strong, and they're going to continue to try and ride that throughout this tournament. On left side, we're going to see Tank, Ruler, also known as Ruler, I believe. I could be wrong. And Viper's going to pick up the Thor for the global pressure, as well as the Sylvanas pick for the support. An interesting pick by Paradigm, seeing that Zenborn heavily favors playing Geb. You'd think they may try and steal that on him with that pick there. They're going to round out with the X-Ball to try and match the late game pressure from Freya. Over on the side of Insomnia, we're going to see Ymir and Bastet picked up there. Bastet, a staple pick from Watson. And, you know, those cats are able to really shred tanks in the early game. I'm not really sure how well that does in this Bluestone patch, but it has been a staple pick by Watson throughout this season. And we're going to see Ymir likely to be played in the support lane here. We have seen that played solo by Kizao in the past, so it'll be interesting to see how that works out as well. Waiting for the third ban. Third ban from Paradigm going to come out. It's going to be Hell. Third ban from Insomnia is going to be the Sobek. They don't want to deal with Solobek. Something that Kaji, we've seen him play yesterday in, quite a bit actually. And to high regard as well, Ranconius, if you're there. Nope. Ranconius gone. Frost, did you manage to load in?
Yes, I am indeed.
Okay, so
I heard my name mentioned. I was just leaving to get coffee, and I heard my name mentioned.
Okay, no big deal.
Go get coffee.
So we're going to see Poseidon come out as well here now, Frost. That's going to be the mid lane pick that Viper's going to be playing. Not really a comfort pick from him based on our conversation with him. However, Syncrotion going to take out Isis with that circle of protections to give that healing and protections as well on the side of Mortality. And a lot of early clear there. I'd say on mid camps and the wave, early waves, Isis is going to have the advantage on clear with the Bastet over the Thor and Poseidon. It's going to be difficult for Thor to get up there with the Berserker's Barrage. He's going to have to level up that Mjolnirs if he wants to help Poseidon clear that wave early and get those mid camps. So, and then we're going to see Vamana come out as well.
I don't think they're going to try to go for just pure fights at the mid camps, though, like trying to contest it. I think they're probably going to try to gank either the Isis or the Bastet and then secure them. It'd be the better thing.
Yeah, we might see that. The global pressure obviously coming out on the side of Paradigm with the new WA as well now. And that's something that's got to worry the former Mortality roster, as they don't have much global pressure here. The closest thing they have is Bastet's ability to traverse the map and Vamana with the ability to quick rotate to the mid lane.
I'm interested to see how this plays out, honestly. Big fan of Nuwa as it is, but there's a lot of versatility with those minions. It's definitely going to come out, provide sort of an extra front line, but not necessarily as the way that it's going to be provided by the Ymir and the Vamana, of course, but it's definitely going to have its own uses.
Okay, and we're done with picks and bans here, guys, so we're just going to go back to just to a pause here as we just get set up to bring this game to you in just a few moments. Me and Frost are going to sync up and we'll be right back.
Oh boy.
Alright, hello ladies and gentlemen, Ravage90 here with Frost. We're going to count down here to sync up real quick, as that's kind of what we have to do, is we're in a full screen mode on PC with the spectator client. And we're going to get right into the game here as we bring you Insomnia versus Paradigm. This is probably the highlight match of the ESL qualifier, as we get set to cast as best of 3 series. Alright, so Frost, are you ready?
Ready.
Alright, let's go. 3, 2, 1, and resume.
Alright.
Yeah, so as I said, we've got Frost here. You'll recognize him from top 5 plays on Xbox. Throwing his hand into casting, he's going to give it a try. We're going to see some early aggression here from Paradigm. They're going to get aggressive here as they look to ward on the mid Harpies.
Warding doesn't look like they're going to try anything. Just trying to get some early vision on there. And we will take the time to introduce the teams, seeing as we have on Mortality, Zenborn with Ymir, Syncrotion with Isis, Bastet being piloted by Watson, Future has Freya, and Kizao on Vamana.
The things to watch in this game, guys, as key players to really watch here are for Kaji and Watson on both sides. These are the difference makers on their teams. Hydra has flashes of brilliance as well, so watch for him to make some big plays on Thor. That's one of his favorite gods as well. Look for Future on the side of Insomnia, the old Mortality squad. He is a game changer, especially on Freya. It's one of his top gods. It'll be interesting to see how this game develops as we go forward. Let's have a look at the item builds here. Frost, what's your opinion here?
Would you like to introduce your Paradigm boys?
Oh, that'd be good. Lydia's probably getting mad at me right now. Okay, yeah. We've got Tank. He's going to be the support player. Viper is just making the transition back to Paradigm. He had a little hiatus, and he's back now in the mid lane, former solo lane. Hydra in the jungle is Jiran. On carry, we've seen him with some slick plays on Ullr yesterday against Odin. And we're going to see Kaji in the solo lane versus Nuwa. Nuwa's a formidable solo laner. And, you know, we've seen Dust playing a lot of Nuwa and leveling up that Fog first. And we're actually going to see Poseidon outpush Isis here early.
Notably, I'm seeing the Nuwa went for the Chronos pendant, so that extra mana over the extra power from the Bancroft's Town for start. Tiny trinket. Sorry, an interesting start. Going for that early mana sustain over the life sustain.
We're going to see the Spirit Ball on top of Vipers here, and the pounce from Watson. We said to watch him, and here he goes. Vipers with the bleed just ticking there. He barely survives with a lick of health. Watson with that early aggression. We said to watch him. He is down to 2 bars of health as well, and he's going to have the pot up.
That was a very good initiation. I'd say if Bastet had probably stuck 1 or 2 more auto attacks, he would have been dead, but Vipers did a very good job of just getting out of there. Didn't try to fight it, and they're doing the back camps now before they head back into lane, trying to farm back up.
Interesting thing to note here is a lack of power pots on Poseidon and Isis. It's different to see out of the EU scene. We usually see those power pot starts coming out of Syncrotion. Viper's obviously new. We haven't seen that from him just yet, but usually for the early clear, we've been seeing that out of mid lanes, at least on the Xbox scene.
Yeah, I'm heading all over to the duo lane. Savannah, Shibalaki making quite a mess of things as they've got them pushed back all the way to the tower.
Yeah, and until we see Freya with that Haste and Fatalis online, it's going to be rough for Zenborn in Future. Obviously, Faunus with that early clear, and X-Ball with his ability to clear as well. So we'll wait to see if the Haste and Fatalis makes a difference here as Jiran and Sylvanas make their way back as they saw the transition from Watson and Syncrotion from the mid lane.
I'm interested to see how this goes between Shibalanki and Freya. They're both very hard-hitting. Freya, though, has a bit of a slow start accompanied by the Shibalanki, so they're kind of going to be hitting that late-game potential quite around the same time, even though Freya comes online around mid-game as opposed to Shibalanki. It's also going to come down to how many kills he can get on this passive.
That's always the struggle with X-Ball. Always. If you can get those kills in your passive, and if they go in the support, it could prove to be trouble for him as Freya farms up and gets the Haste and Fatalis online. Look at a solo lane, Frost, and this is the interesting matchup. This is the problem with facing a Nuwa. Nuwa, even though you have her pushed on her tower, is not really behind. She's able to push up with that fog, as you can see right here, put the minions down, stall the wave, and she's still under tower. Keys out, not able to get really up close and personal. So she's able to just farm up and keep pace with Vamana, even though he has her pressured on her tower.
It's definitely one of those strategies. I've played a fair amount of Nuwa, and I can tell you from experience, once either of those towers goes down, it's going to become a lot harder for Nuwa to do anything. You've got that perfect distance where you can stay underneath, throw your stuff out, you're farming, you're fine. But once one of those towers goes down, it's going to be way too open for her.
We're going to see the invasion here on the attack speed by Paradigm with no ability to contest from Insomnia. Watson and Syncrocian were out of position there to really do anything, but they may be able to get control of mid camps.
It just seems that both teams are trying to farm up right now. Not too many engagements going on. They're just content with farming creeps.
And that's something typical we'll see out of the former Mortality roster and Paradigm. They know each other so well. And like I said, when the mistake is made, you're going to see the other team punish it. These teams know each other extremely well. Look for Syncrocian to go to these left mids here right now, and he's going to get the steal off on at least one of those Harpies, and he'll get the timer there, which is important. Look for Watson to get aggressive here on top of Hydra, but he sees 3 men there, and he's going to back it on up.
Thor not really opting to do much with his ultimate, which I think they could have turned that around. They could have probably got an ultimate, maybe a stun. Sylvanas could have pulled. They had the numbers there. As Bastet just goes for a speed buff. Everyone's going back to farming. This is great play. People think great play is going to be, oh, someone fired off some auto attacks and then they return fire. Then no, great play is no one's making mistakes. You're just farming, and they're looking for that opening. It's going to take a while, but there hasn't been one yet.
And that's the problem. And you have to think that maybe nerves on this big stage are finally getting to some of the players here. Maybe there's hesitation on the side of Hydra to really go and make that call to get in deep on Bastet without vision on parts of the map. And you know, that's something we talked about in the pregame, Frost, and something that I think is very real when you're looking at this level of play. We're going to look at the builds now. We haven't seen Freya or X-Ball go back just yet to buy additional items. Looks like X-Ball does have the Transcendence and Bluestone start. Be interested to see what happens when he builds that Transcendence up a little bit. If the Bluestone mixed with that Transcendence is going to spell trouble for Freya. Because if he can get that poison off with the hop and then refresh it, plus with the tick on the Bluestone, I think it's going to that's going to be a formidable bit of damage that Future's going to have to deal with there, even with the Haste and Fatalis.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see a couple of winged blades coming out for the red team, seeing as they have to deal with Ymir, Bastet. The whole team basically has slows. It'd be a great pickup for them.
Yeah, I think that would be a smart move, especially when you're looking at Thor for sure and Sylvanas. Maybe see a wing blade come out from one of those guys in their late game items.
It wouldn't be bad on Nuwa either, seeing as it gives more health and the creeps do scale off of the added health.
And we may see the first pick here now, Frost, and there's the Wrath of Terra. Zenborn is going to take a little bit of damage there, but Paradigm with the slick pull. Tank is there, but his team had backed off already, and that could have been first blood right there with some commitment from the rest of the team there. And as we talked about before, maybe a little bit of nerves still stirring on the side of Paradigm.
It's definitely one of those, right now, you don't want to be too aggressive. I think they're trying to get a feel for each other. They're like, what will you do if I step forward? Are you going to step back? And it looks like Solar Lane's actually duking it out right now. No, they're just farming. Just trying to find that feel for it. You don't dive at your opponent just yet.
That's an interesting matchup, you know, when you pick the Nuwa to Vamana, because it kind of messes up his whole rhythm. Because as Vamana, you want to get armor on. Okay, and now you have to contend with that magical resistance. So it's an interesting matchup for Kizao. He has to go right into that Stone of Gaia nice and early, and he's not going to be able to build those protections, which, you know, some of his abilities do rely on.
Yeah, it's still going to hurt, though, seeing as the minions do shred through armor, and believe they do physical damage.
Yeah, that's correct. I'm going to look at the item builds here, Frost. We're going to see Haste and Fatalis finally come online from Freya, as well as their Transcendence on X-Ball. And this will be really interesting to see as the supports rotate out at this point in the game. The boxing matches that start to ensue between Jiran and Future. Two highly skilled players, really. I think Jiran doesn't get the credit that he is due in the EU scene, but he is a formidable carry and is able to box with Future. And I can't wait to see as those boxing matches. We're going to see Thor go up here now.
Yes.
Thor going down on top of Freya. Freya going to be up with the ultimate. That's going to be 2 ultimates burned there with not a whole else gained. Not no real lane pressure there as well. Watson finally going to be able to go back and buy